In this video, we are going to be talking about digital citizenship, but we're going to look at it through the lens of digital wellness. We really want to think about our students' feeling of belonging and thinking about their motivation to do things in our class. And sometimes what's happening in their virtual world spills over into our classrooms. So we do need to know how to help our students in this way. So let's take a peek and what is it that our students are dealing with online and how we can support them. First, we're going to start with what is the real world, and what we're talking about here is your real world when we're talking digital. In an internet minute, we have a lot that happens, and the video or the image you see on your screen has to do with 2021. So obviously things have changed a bit in 2022, and this one might look a little different when we hit 20 when that one actually comes out. But take a moment, pause maybe, and take a look and see what happens every 60 seconds online. Also consider that our cell phone has more computer power than all of NASA in 1969 when we landed on the moon. So we have a lot of technology, a lot of impact that we can make with what we carry in our pockets. We know that in the work life, so in the World Economic Forum, they have put together a list of skills that are needed and the skills that are most sought after as far as what they want our students to know and be able to do when they leave our doors. So we're thinking about this beyond this year, but thinking about when our students graduate and when they enter the job market. Again, pause this video to read through it, and then we'll highlight a few things. So you might have noticed when you looked at the top 10 skills for 2025 that they are broken down into problem solving, self-management, working with people, and technology use and development. When you're talking about confidence and motivation, that really is going to tie very importantly into problem solving, self-management, working with people, and even in our technology use. So by spending some time doing these activities and making sure that our students have a sense of belonging is going to help them in whatever future career that they have. If you look at the image in the bottom left and you're talking about those core skills that are there, we're talking about the decision making, developing people, communication, self management, anything along those lines. We're really trying to think about how we're developing the whole person, not just making sure they have the math and reading skills that we know are also important in our classroom. So I had this opportunity to interview some students about their digital wellness, and this was prior to COVID. So it's a little bit dated, but it's still going to give you an idea as how our students think about digital citizenship or their online presence. Students said they're really not addicted to technology and actually helps them with problems and communication. They said they like to be able to talk to people and they like social media. And in schools, no matter how often we block something, they're going to find a way around it or another unblocked site. Young students also believe that using social media keeps them more civically minded and exposes them to greater diversity, which are definitely things that are important for this generation. During the pandemic, they used technology for three reasons. They used it to have fun, to keep their mood up, and to stay connected. So if you're thinking about confidence and motivation, we're really thinking about these three as well. We want our students to be having fun in our classrooms. We want them to be in a good mood, and we definitely want them to stay connected with us. So the things that students turn to technology for and how they use technology really does spill over into our classrooms very much. We are currently in the fourth industrial revolution. We're thinking about AI, robotics, autonomous vehicles, the Internet of Things, lots of things that are happening that are booming right now for us in this connected revolution. So this is our intelligence one, where we have robots that do just about anything for us. So we need to expose our students to this world, but we also need to help them understand it and be able to discern how they want to act and behave online. More than 65% of our students are going to be working in jobs that don't currently exist. So you can go to Will Robots Take My Job, and you'll find that education or educators, we're not going anywhere. They're still going to be needed, but there's lots of jobs that we've been preparing our students for that are not going to exist when they enter the workforce. So we want to think about that. The job that you're currently in, how different did it look when you were in school? Did you know this is where you were going to end up? And know that this is also going to happen to our students. When we define digital citizenship, the Digital Citizenship Institute defines it as digital citizenship is an action, something that we need to practice and do every day. So we have to think about what we do online every day to really showcase ourselves in the best light. But defining digital wellness is going to be a bit of a shift. And really, when you think about the new standards that we have in New York State, we have the computer science and digital fluency standards. That's really where we can shift from citizenship to wellness. So we're going to break those down a little bit. Within impacts of computing, we have society, ethics, accessibility, and career paths. So we have one concept area you see at the top and four sub-concept areas that are part of the standards. So just to see it in action, you'll see a few things on the screen here. Many schools have adopted the cell phones in the pockets when the students are in the class, and many students find this is a good way to help them practice balance. The students you see playing with the Indy cars, those are by Sphero. These are first graders, and they're exploring how the mats work. So this is something where the only guidance they got is make the car go, and they had to figure out the rest. So problem solving, seeing how this technology can work, exploring and testing, and there's no fear of failure when they're playing with a robot. Showcasing careers in STEM. And a reference for you, there's a fabulous book called Ethics in the Digital World. It's going to have lots of, what's happened in the news and what's happened with major tech companies and social media companies and how we can bring in those lessons learned into our classroom. When we're talking about it from the focus of wellness, we want to have our students thinking about different ideas and having conversations. Making eye contact is a huge skill our students need to continue to learn. You can also see that we're using the iRobot Root robots, where they're using touch to be able to design how the path of the robot's going to go. You could also do this through sensors, and we're teaching the students different ways to use technology. And this is a blended activity where they did the coding online, but then they took it offline with their drawing and with the use of the robot. On the top right, where you see Send a Smile to Seniors for Valentine's Day. During the pandemic, many students in several classes in this one district created virtual Valentine's Day cards to send to senior citizens in nursing homes. They also did thank you cards for the nursing home staff. And you can see that it had many, many views and lots of reactions. So many people were able to interact with these cards. So they were showing empathy and they were reaching out through using the internet in a positive way. In the bottom picture, the students are learning about cybersecurity. They're watching videos, they're doing activities, and they're using the Sphero robot to really think about and learn the different skills that they need. The next concept area is cybersecurity. Here we're talking about risks, safeguard, and response. What you see here is a cybersecurity takeover day that we did at a school. The students answered trivia questions playing trivia Jenga. They used the Sphero to see how fast it would take the robot to decode a 3-digit number. They practiced certain ethical hacking, and they learned about good and bad behavior online, and then they captured their learning by writing on the whiteboard in the back of the screen. We used the cybersecurity lessons that were on Sphero. Sphero did this project with Dr. Mosley out of Pace University, and there's some statistics that can be a little bit shocking for you, so you might want to pause and take a look at these, or maybe watch the video about who's tracking your face. But you'll see that the statistics are for 4th through 8th grade students from the Center of Cybersecurity or Cyber Safety and Education and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And out of the students that were involved, 40% had connected with strangers online. More than half had given them their phone number. 15% of them tried to meet that person in person. And 78% of the students that were victims were girls. So this is definitely something we need to be bringing into our classroom and giving our students the toolkit to protect themselves. The next area when we're considering the standards around wellness is digital literacy, and that's digital use versus digital citizenship, those two categories. On the top left, the students are practicing their coding by thinking of ways that they can solve problems. So they're doing offline coding using paper, but it certainly is something where they're learning different things as far as how to handle different things that happen online. You'll see lots of coding and activities where they're using robotics, where they're doing problem solving. And then we did some would you rather activities where they had to determine what they would rather do. When we're thinking about digital wellness, we can think of the ISTE's DigCit Commit pillars, where we're really talking about what it means to be a good digital citizen. And if you're all of those things, we really want to consider ourselves an impactor. When we think of our guide to wellness, we want to encourage the things that we've been talking about in this course: critical thinking, having the tool set and having that information, engaging in conversations, modeling for, we need to model for our students, using online tech tools and lessons so they get used to what you should and shouldn't do online, and then protecting our personal versus our private information, our personal versus our public information. Just a few resources for you, some great books if you're interested or you're one that likes to read. There's three on this slide, and then there's three on the next slide that are great books to talk about or to read to learn more about digital wellness.